I leaned down to stick my down her throat. I wanted to taste every last drop of the food she'd consumed.
I'm here, I'm out of the clink clink. I don't care. I didn't ask that. She said to get the dog out. I ain't no better than a man. If that was a person, it would be Dez. Her friend group, they gets down. We did it, we did it, we did it, yeah. Hey, welcome back to my channel. We chillaxing. I'm on my lunch break. This video ends when I find a 5-star romance. If you've been keeping up, you know that I have been reading romance, but I haven't found a 5-star, which is strange, right? I don't want to say that I haven't read good romances this year, because I have. I've had some 4 stars. I think I almost had a 5-star, but I definitely had some 1s, or a 1. I had a 3, I had a 3.5. And it's just so odd that we're already in March. Today's March 11th. And I still haven't gotten a 5-star romance. So this is going to be my journey to find it. Who knows how long this is going to last. Book number 1 of who knows how many. The Bodyguard Proposal. Stretch. This is by a South Asian author. It's obviously Bodyguard. I love Bodyguard romances. I've read a couple. Here's the thing. The only thing that's going to make me nervous is that it does say at the top, at the bottom, a steamy romantic comedy. I've said this so many times. I hate cartoon covered books that are rom-coms that have sex in it. I'm not a fan. She could say steamy and mean like just in other ways. Like full-on sex scene, I just don't like it in my rom-coms, period, because I've never read a rom-com that didn't have an animated cover or a cartoon cover. All I know is that I think she's either like an up-and-coming actress or she's gonna become an actress before like something happens. She's gonna go somewhere for vacation. I think she's going to London and she's gonna have to take her bodyguard with her and she's gonna get him into all kinds of stuff. Sounds pretty funny. Howdy. So I have an update. I am gonna scrap this book out of this video because I know for a fact it's not a 5-star. I read till about 20% yesterday. However, I want to continue reading it. I think it's going to be mid, like a 3-star for me. But obviously, I know it's not a 5, so I'm just going to go ahead and take it out of this video. Rom-coms to me fall into 2 different categories. Rom-coms where the writing is good, there's an equal amount of romance and comedy. And then there's rom-coms where the romance and the comedy are over-exaggerated. And it makes the writing come off cheesy. And that's how that is. It's like over the top. It's almost over the top that it's not funny. I went ahead last night and started Luca by Gray Huffington. I am on page 16. Still on the prologue. It's that long. Will this be a 5-star? I don't know, because it's a long book. It's like 422 pages, and I can tell you exactly why it's long. I highlighted the reasons. There's so much detail in this book, it's ridiculous. But I think once the romance kicks in, and it's single parent, I should be good. But let me just tell you, because I feel like a lot of times I talk about what I dislike in books, but I end up giving my own examples. I never find examples in the books at the time. But I have plenty of examples. The first thing is the writing, to me, isn't matching the vibe of the book. Sometimes it's coming off as like formal, something that I would type up in an email.
My heart aches for her, for us. She too was feeling the effects of our sudden relocation.
What? That feels so formal, like we couldn't simplify that. Now these examples are the amount of detail that is in this book. I unlocked my phone using face recognition and opened the Safari browser. What? Why do we need to know that? As I shut off the light from my cell, I rested my head on the seat and reclined it approximately 3 inches. It goes on to say, it was as far as back as the seat would go, but for now that would be enough. That still wasn't necessary. Just say you cut your phone off and you reclined. Like 3 inches specifically? So quickly, let me give a little backstory. We have our main character. She has 2 kids, Emery and Essence. Essence, I believe, is like 5. Emery is like, I don't know, 3. 2, something like that. And she running from her, I'm assuming husband or boyfriend, but the father of her kids, because he's abusive. So she was like, he put his hands on me for the last time, we're leaving. I'm still on the prologue because it's 24 pages long, but she's on the bus and it's like a 6-hour drive. So at the halfway mark, they stopped at a gas station for people to use the bathroom, and she says, thankfully there wasn't a long line at the door. The restroom was large, allowing up to 25 people to enter a stall at a time. What bathroom at a gas station would allow up to 25 people in a stall? Even if it's not a 5, I think potentially it could still be over a 4. Could I look past that type of writing? We'll see. I think I'm getting, this is not a happy hee. I think I'm getting to that part that girl was talking about. It depends if I'm on chapter 13. We just kind of passed the sex scene, the first sex scene. Honestly, it went by so fast. I don't know what happened. Now they're kind of talking. This is like, I guess the next morning, or not, maybe not next morning, but the next, like after they finish. And they just finished eating, going over how they want to proceed forward. They're kissing and they just ate. He says,
I leaned down to stick my down her throat. I wanted to taste every last drop of the food she'd consumed.
yeah. That's just nasty. I'm coming at you with an update. Y'all, my hair always looks a hot mess because I have an issue with the flyaways. The gel don't work. Anyways, I have an update. I'm gonna continue reading it in this video. I know it's not gonna be a 5. This man, Luca, is Delulu. He is crazy. He's absolutely crazy. I don't even know if this is gonna be a 4. I'm entertained. And I don't know if I would necessarily say in a good way. Like, I'm entertained in the way that I want to see how far this is gonna go. I read to 51%. Yeah, it's going very quickly. I don't know why, because the chapters are long. I mean, they're anywhere from 10 to like 18 minutes long. I forgot whose the video it was I watched, but they spoke about not liking this book, and that made me worried because I've never seen people say that they dislike this one. Number 1, Luca is getting out of prison. He's been in prison for 8 years because he pew-pewed his sister Lyric's ex-boyfriend. Our main character, Ever, has moved in with Lyric. Lyric is Luca's sister. She goes with Lyric to get the brother Luca, and that's how they meet. And it's an instant attraction. I'm not mad at it because I know what happens. The issue is the possessiveness from so early on. Something happens and he finds out, this is literally chapter 5. They may have met in chapter 4. I'm pretty sure he was asking Lyric, what's her deal? She says she's fragile, fresh out of a relationship with a man who should have never gotten the time of day, but that's the past. She says they have 2 children, so not exactly. And he said, sounds like I've got 2 children then. Sir, the thing is, you might say, oh, like he's joking. He's not joking. He's being for serious. Okay. So my name is not actually spelled KC. Every time I see my name spelled like my actual spelling in a book is crazy because it's like, how did you get to that spelling? But anyways, I have a character in here apparently. Ever, Lyric, Lake, and Luca are at this pub. I don't know what it is, a club, because he's home, right? And Luca sees Ever chatting with a guy, and his name is Dennis. I don't know why I remember his name. And Dennis gives her his number. He's like filming from sitting at the table. He's like this. And of course she sees him. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. So he corners her there and he's like, delete the number. Delete the number. And she's like, oh, why? And he's, does that your mind type thing. Not even 5 minutes later, a Casey pops up. Me. I pop up. They start flirting. Well, she's the one flirting with him. I think she puts his number in her phone and she's like, yeah, like, what are you doing later and all that? Sir, deep down, as a reader, they're not gonna do anything that night. He just an a-hole. I even highlighted that scene. Luca is driving her back to Lyric's place. She makes the comment like, oh, like, are you gonna invite Casey to your house or whatever, your crib. He tells her, I got a lot of D to give you tonight if that's what you're looking for. But if not, then I suggest you go in the house. That's the only part of that scene that I highlighted. But the whole thing was just, I don't know. It just made me angry. And then the last one, he has never met her kids yet. And I like that, even though they're moving fast. But mind you, I think they only met like a day ago. His mom is the teacher of Emery, which is Ever's youngest daughter. She's about 2 or 3. He goes to visit his mom because, again, to tell her, I'm here, I'm out of the clink clink. He can already tell, looking at the child's face, because she's in his mom's office, on her lap, actually, like he can tell, that's my woman's child. So that's inherently, that's my child. That's literally what he says. In his head, as an extension of her mother, she was technically already mine. But not only that, this part came off weird to me, and I'm trying to tell myself, why is it weird? Because they also have like men who are daycare workers and stuff like that. But I guess because he's not a daycare worker. But he can tell that the mom finding Emery to be very heavy. So he just takes her and holds her. I don't know. The scene was just, it was weird. It almost feels like going behind Ever's back in a way, because I don't even think Ever knows that he knows that she has 2 kids. They haven't even met. They haven't even gone out on a date together yet. I'm probably thinking too much into it. Okay, y'all. I have an update. I finished Luca. I need time to talk about it. That could be its own video, but it's not. I'm going to talk about it in here. But I need time. I only have 8 minutes left before I go clock in. I'm going to need more than 8 minutes. But I did want to say that I started another book. I started, what's it called? Taste of Sin, or A Taste of Sin, I think is what it's called, by Fiona Zeddy or Zed or Zeddy. Only on 6%. I don't know if it'll be a 5, but I'm really liking it in the 6% that I've read. It's an erotica, so it's not a spicy romance technically, because it is an erotica, so that is the plot. I can't go in judging it like I would a romance, because yes, I'm sure at the end of the day, you're going to end up together, whoever, but the plot is going to be the spicy scenes. All I know is that our FMC says she gets a call from her mom's doctor saying, I can't get a hold of her, but she has a biopsy that she needs to do on such and such because we changed the schedule. She finds out through the doctor that her mom has ovarian cancer, maybe. She can't get a hold of her mom, so she goes to her, I guess, her hometown where her mom lives. She finds out from her twin brother that her mom is actually like on vacation somewhere. She's staying there, and she runs into old friends, and it's gonna be spicy. This is a little lengthy for my liking for an erotica. How many unique spicy scenes are you gonna be able to do? Well, I'm back home. Right now is the perfect time to get into Luca. I had a ton of notes. I was able to actually concise everything. To put everything in a review. I am giving a 2-star. First of all, I can't express how disappointed I am that I didn't like this. Again, the amount of detail I spoke about in a previous clip, that still stands. I don't think I fully processed how insta-lovey it was. Things were going on within the matter of days. Typically, I don't mind insta-love because I know it can happen in real life, and sometimes those relationships can last a long time. But this relationship was borderline obsessive. I think I have 2 examples. 2 daughters, Emery and Essence. I forgot she even had 2 daughters. I think after a couple of days that they had known each other, she spends the night there, and I mean, that was kind of it. How they say that, F them kids. That's exactly what it was giving. She didn't mention them, nothing. I'm like, wait, we haven't seen them kids in a while. And then of course the next scene, after it had been a couple of days, she's back home with the kids. I'm like, girl, bye. Also, her license plate when he gets her a car is Luca. Luca is her license plate. Now here's the big thing. I don't understand how she got into a relationship with this kind of a man. I don't believe it because, and when I say this kind of a man, I mean someone who's like head of the table, borderline controlling, you know? I don't understand because she escaped this abusive relationship with her ex Dwayne, and then she gets into her soulmate, lovey-dovey relationship with Luca. And I know that this is a fictional romance, so Ever and Luca are gonna stay together forever in the book world. I could see this in real life, their relationship turning into a controlling and hopefully not, like abusive relationship. Which, I mean, I think Dwayne did put his hands on her also. But she talks about money, but I'm gonna get into that. So one of the most frustrating things was that she would set her boundaries, but he would bulldoze it over. I have a perfect example. I don't want you buying me all these different things and giving me money because I just came from an abusive relationship where he controlled money. But then he convinces her. And then it's like all fine and dandy. And now she's accepting everything that he gives and she doesn't care anymore because it's Luca. Set them boundaries, girl. There's a scene where it's towards the end. He buys a dog. He brings it into, I think this was her house at the time, but he probably bought it. And she's like, oh, no. Get that dog out of here. I don't like dogs. And he's yapping. He says, well, I'm gonna send him to be trained at some point and he's gonna be staying with me and something like that. I don't care. I didn't ask that. She said to get the dog out. Oh, no worries. She lets the dog thing slide because she hasn't seen him in days and wants to get up under him. It's like she can set her boundaries, but don't give him enough time to start talking her ear off, because next thing you know, them panties probably dropping to the floor and she's forgetting whatever that she told him. The other thing, the use of the word as a moan. I don't think I've ever seen that. I've seen it in a book actually, like like I didn't like that. If you're gonna put a moan in there, just put HM or whatever. Not I'm thinking of like he's asking her a question and she's like, that's exactly how it's reading in my head. I could go on and on about what I didn't like about this book. I probably have other things, but we're gonna wrap it up. The only reason that I did not give it a 1 star is because a 1 star for me means there's not one positive thing that I can point out. This book, on the other hand, I could point out a couple of things. 1, it was long, but it read so fast. I could have finished it all in the same day. Luca was loyal, with the exception of that incident with Casey at the beginning of the book. I didn't have to worry about him being with somebody else or someone else and making it seem like he was with her, and I didn't have to worry about other girl drama, other woman drama, whatever you want to call it. They were in love with each other. They believed they were in love with each other. I mean, yippee, I guess. And he loved her 2 daughters as his own, literally from jump. And I'm gonna end it with that. So next is this book, right? I started A Taste of Sin. I mentioned that already. I'm at about 70-ish%. I don't know how long I have left. Let me go grab my notes really quick. I was gonna save this for when I was done with the book because this video is gonna be so long just because of all my thoughts from Luca. I have a couple of little notes. I was thinking Des is a very horny person. It was just sex. Not just that, but like when people, women specifically, in comments of like people working out or something, or another woman walking, they'll say like, I ain't no better than a man. If that was a person, it would be Des. But it makes sense because we do kind of get into her background and her family life, and it kind of makes sense as to why she's kind of like that. I don't know if I would go as far as to say an addiction. I don't want to put words in a fictional mouth, but that's kind of what it was giving. On the other hand, we get into her and her mom's relationship, kind of reconnecting, but it doesn't fit the vibe of the book. On one hand, we get in heavy spice, and then on the other, we have these sappy moments with her mom, and we're talking about serious stuff. We're talking about cancer. We're talking about estranged relationships with parents, with her twin brother, Derek. And it just don't fit the vibe of the book. I was reading a review before I started it, and someone had said, that it's more erotic than romance. And I didn't know what they were talking about because I'm like, this isn't erotica. But I feel like I know exactly what they're talking about. It's just erotic. It's just sex. I don't feel the connection between her and the other FMC. This is sapphic, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. The lesbian relationship. I just didn't know with who because her friend group, they gets down. So I didn't know who was who. But there's another character introduced. It's actually her brother's best friend named Victoria. It's just sex. I don't feel the connection. I don't feel the chemistry. I don't see it at all. With that being said, it's not enough. It's not enough sex. It's not enough spice because yes, there's spice from the get-go at the beginning, but to me, that kind of spicy scene is different compared to her being with the love interest, right? The spicy scenes with random people that aren't going to be her love interest, that's different than the spicy scenes with the love interest. We don't get spicy scenes with the love interest until like 65. Like I just kind of got to it. 65-ish, 60%. Because I'm thinking about this is an erotica. This is what it's promoted as. I'm not happy with it. I don't like it. We about to get down to business, okay? That's ridiculous. That's technically book 3. Next, I might switch between 2 books. I don't know. I'm thinking I need to read my physical book, which is The Romantic Agenda. This has an asexual character. So I've never read a book with an asexual character. So maybe that might give me, you know, something that I didn't know I needed. I was looking at some of the books that I have on my Kindle that's not KU, that's bought. Hot for Teacher by Monique Fisher. This is too long. Bye. I was able to finish, I stayed up. I was able to finish whatever I was reading in here. I am going to give it a 1. I really had to sit with my rating because I needed to compare it to Luca because I finished reading it. I thought about it. I couldn't tell you one positive thing about it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it for the same reasons, obviously, of Luca. Luca, the writing at the beginning, it just threw me off because it was just, I didn't like it. With this one, the writing wasn't good either, but I could stand it because it had the right amount of detail. And then I had to think about what it's promoted as, right? It's an erotica. Did I like the spicy scenes? No, I didn't. I thought that they were too fast. It lacked some detail. I also felt like she didn't really read it through again because there were some scenes that personally just didn't make sense to me. I was confused. Tons of group scenes. That's not bad. I'm just saying it was just too many women. I was confused sometimes. I have started The Romantic Agenda. I am 64 pages in. I'm liking it. Now, I'm hoping that 3rd time's a charm. I just don't know if it's a 5. Our main character, she is a little weird. She has a weird humor. I think that's what it is. Like, maybe not just humor, but her personality is very quirky. You know? I wouldn't say not like other girls. Joy. Love her name. I feel like her name fits her vibe so much. She is in love with her best friend named Malcolm. They both met in college and she saw him standing by himself and he had a sign that said something like, not a sign, but like a pamphlet, I guess, to hand out, and it was kind of like, do you think you might be asexual or something like that? Joy is in love with Malcolm. However, Malcolm sees her as a friend and is actually kind of dating someone else named Summer, who's a white girl. I didn't realize she was white, but Malcolm is black, Joy is black, and we have 2 other characters in the mix. Summer's white, and Malcolm and Summer invite Joy to this cabin because Summer is bringing her friend named Fox, but Fox and Malcolm don't like each other, and they thought, well, let me invite Joy so that she can actually be there as well. Obviously, they're gonna fall in love. He's also white, so this is interracial. There's nothing wrong with interracial, but I mean, we can't think of different mixes. So they're spending, I don't know how long in this cabin because I haven't gotten that far. So apparently Fox is gonna help her because now I did see that part. He can tell that she is in love basically with Malcolm. I'm sure he can tell as well that Malcolm probably doesn't have those same feelings because he probably thinks of her as a sister. Summer already told us that. He's gonna propose that they pretend to fall for each other on the weekend trip, so it's just a weekend, to make Malcolm jealous. But spending time with Fox shows Joy what it's like to not be the third wheel, and there's no mistaking the way he makes her feel. Could Fox be the romantic partner she's always deserved? Let's just get the show on the road, why don't we? 3.5. Number one, I did not like the dynamic between Joy and the best friend Malcolm that she's trying to make jealous with this fake relationship with Fox. Because it's one of those things where she's the girl best friend, and I don't know how any other girl feels about that or any other woman. The overall take like in society is that men aren't supposed to have girl best friends when you have like a girlfriend or a wife or something. Now there are some women who say they don't mind. Personally, I'm your best friend. Like you read so many books, you see so many horror stories about he told me they were just best friends, and then we break up or they break up and then he gets with, you know what I mean? There's so much that could go wrong with that. For the sake of fiction, I didn't like it. Even though I did see it coming off as like a brother-sister kind of thing, but on his part, because I knew that he didn't like her like that, I didn't like the reasoning as to why they even fake dated. And I say fake date, it wasn't fake dating. It was more so faking that they're closer, that they're just getting closer and closer because they had just met. I didn't like the reason as to why. I didn't like her reason. At first I didn't like Fox's because it just didn't make sense, but it's not until like later on, because it's like we get part of his story and then it's like I still didn't like the reason, but then it's like apparently he wasn't done telling his story. There was another part to it, and like later on, like 70% into it, we finally get more as to why he's helping her. I still wasn't that pleased with it. Now, the biggest issue was Joy herself. She was fun, she was cool, but to take it back down to Disney Channel, she reminded me of a mix between Harper from Wizards and Alex from Wizards. Because to me, Harper and Alex are essentially the same person, just in like 2 different fonts. With Harper, she's very unique in like how she portrays herself. Like she shows her uniqueness on the outside with the different fashion trend. She makes up her own fashion trends, right? I feel the same way with Joy, not necessarily with fashion, obviously, but with the way that she carries herself and the way that she's described in the book, it reminds me of Harper. On the inside, like her personality, I get Alex vibes, and I love Alex, but it's like that quirky personality. It's not bad, and it didn't come off as I'm not like other girls. It didn't, because I think there's 2 versions of that quirky. There's quirky, I'm not like other girls. She was more like a quirky, kind of clumsy. That's not my favorite type of character in a book. She says what's on her mind. I don't watch the Kardashians, but there was a clip that had gone viral where Kylie Jenner, all of them had met Alabama Barker for the first time. I think it was for the first time. I haven't seen it. I just saw what was taken out of context, basically, and it could have been edited weird. But they're meeting for the first time, and Kylie is just kind of like, like, I don't know. They kind of, the people that were circulating this video, this clip, made it sound like, looking at Alabama like, why do you look like that? You know what I mean? And in our head, it's like, girl, you started this mess. Like, she's channeling you when you were that age or whatever. And that's a vibe that I got in here, because Joy, I feel like Joy has never met another person like herself until she met Summer, who is Malcolm's girl that he's pursuing. And it's so funny because I feel like Joy was like low-key side-eyeing Summer, because Summer's essentially Joy. And it's so funny because I'm like, girl, you side-eyeing her, but that's you. Now, she could have been side-eyeing her because she's with her man, or who she wants to be her man. I did round it up to a 4 because I thought that the moments between Fox and Joy was really cute, and I did like getting the other aspects of romance besides the sex part. But I have great news. I started the next book that's in this video called A Caribbean Heiress in Paris. I'm trying to hurry up with this, like this clip, so I can go read. I believe I started it yesterday. I read I forgot how many pages I read yesterday. It wasn't 100. I'm on 146 right now. I'm around the 50% mark. I don't think I'm quite there yet. I am loving this so much. I don't even really know how to explain it, but we have, and I don't even know how to pronounce the main character's name. It's L-U-Z space Alana. Luz Alana. She owns a distillery, but she goes to Paris for something because she is gonna go sell some rum. She has a distillery that's in her family, that's been in her family for generations. However, while she's there, she can't succeed until she gets married. She meets James Evanston Sinclair, Earl of Darnick. He's Irish. He's not Irish, he's Scottish. He goes by Evan. He is also on the hunt for someone to marry because he's trying to get from under his dad. His mom said that it would to be passed down to him after he got married as a wedding gift. They meet and the way they meet is just so cute. She had like these, I'm thinking of like a book signing where, you know, you have your own space and you have your books on your table. It was kind of like that, and she had her rum and stuff. He was moving her stuff to put his stuff because they were supposed to be like sharing a table. She's like, what's going on here? Like, what is this? And I don't know. I was just so smitten. He's smitten. It's just really cute. Right now, it for sure is a 5-star. It took off a little slow. I know myself. If it had been faster, I would say, well, it's too fast. So I think the pacing is good. I'm assuming that they are gonna enter into this marriage of convenience. That's actually where I'm at. He's already told her like, hey, propositioned her, hey, like we should get married. And now they're sealing it off with a spicy scene. And then watch I come back and say, ugh, it was a 4.5. I can't handle it. I need to stop logging in my thoughts days after I finished a book because I don't have any notes for this. I did finish reading this, and I do want to clear something up because I know I always get the synopsis wrong. The reason why Luz could have benefited from this marriage is because it was an inheritance that she couldn't get without being married first. This video was done. I ended up giving this a 5-star. Could I pick something that I disliked out of this? For sure. I'm pretty sure I could, but I would have to seriously think about it. It was really good. I loved how they first met. I was entertained. It was the right amount of spice, the right amount of other aspects of a romance besides spice. I have so many parts right here, if you guys can see, where I would have tabbed. I would have had more tabs than that, but I don't know. Maybe before I bring it to the library, I wanted to look at these again. Oh, the one thing that I could pick out is that this is insta-love, basically. The timeline of them getting together is days. They meet one day, they're smitten with each other. I think they kiss on the second day or that night on the first day. And then I think it's not till like 2 weeks later or maybe a week later that he proposes the marriage of convenience. Honestly, I wasn't that turned off by it because it's historical. So I feel like back in the day, like that was normal. This was 1889. So like, what were they doing back in the day? And it only took how many books? So I went from The Bodyguard Proposal, which was a DNF, to Luca, which was a 2-star. A Taste of Sin was a 1. To The Romantic Agenda, which was a 3.5. Somehow jumping to finally a 5-star. But we did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. Yeah. And I'll see you next week. Bye.